Welcome to the Say It Out Loud podcast. I'm your host, Vasavi Kumar. If you're eager to gain clarity, speak with unwavering confidence, and liberate those inner voices, you're in the perfect spot. My mission here is to empower you to break free, find fulfillment, and ignite your passion. You ready? It's time to say it out loud. I've put together a guide of my top 10 tested and proven to work practical strategies and habits to help bright women like you say no, set your boundaries right, live confidently, and build healthy relationships, starting with the relationship you have with yourself. This is a self-paced guide, and I can't wait for you to dig into it so you can start becoming your most confident self, because she's in there waiting for you. Head to the link in my show notes or go to vasavikumar.com/guide and grab it today. Welcome back to another episode of the Say It Out Loud podcast. It's me, Vasavi. I am going to be straight up with y'all. I recorded a 25-minute episode prior to this one right here. And when I got out of my sound booth, checked my computer, there was absolutely nothing. So I basically lost everything that I said right before this, which was this episode that I'm going to record. And I've had to talk to myself a little bit and remind myself it's going to be okay. The second time is going to be even better. There's plenty more where that good juju came from. And we are here recording this same episode, but it won't be the same. It can't be the same because the original episode was never recorded in the first place. I don't know what happened. Tech issues. It's okay. And we're doing it again. So this is what you're listening to. You're listening to the Say It Out Loud podcast with me, Vasavi. And the episode today that I really had on my heart that I wanted to talk about was giving yourself the permission to trust yourself again. It is okay that you may have broken your heart a few times. It is okay. We make mistakes. We break our own hearts sometimes. And we do things that are not the best for us. And we associate with people who don't value us because we didn't value ourselves enough in the first place to see that these people don't even value us. And so if you are in a place and a season in your journey, in your life right now where you are beginning to trust yourself again and you want to learn how to trust yourself on a deeper level again, then this episode is for you. So I've made a list of things. And these things are like, okay, if someone were to come to me and say to me, you know, something happens, maybe you'll be presented with an opportunity, you have to make a decision, and you're like going back and forth with should I, shouldn't I, and then you're just stuck and you're spiraling. So it's like new level, new devil, right? Every time we start to expand, become more of who we are, you know, we are becoming more and more confronted with things that maybe we have been closed off from. And so we're open to so many new things in our life. And with that being said, we have opportunities moment to moment to really check in with ourselves rather than living our life from a, you know, good or bad or should I or shouldn't I or right or wrong, this very black and white type of thinking that I have been actively working on getting out of, you guys. Like I have such black and white thinking around black and white thinking, and I have black and white thinking around so many different topics, and it's just the nature of my brain. I just can't help it. I can't help it, meaning like that is from my childhood. My brain developed into a very black and white way of thinking, but luckily I have the tools, I have the awareness to be able to spot that and be able to kind of really look at, is this type of thinking actually helpful for me, or is it keeping me in a very limited, rigid type of frequency, which I don't want to be operating in? So that's a little bit about what I'm working on right now. And maybe that's helping someone out there listening right now who may have a little bit of black and white thinking themselves. But this episode is about giving yourself permission to trust yourself. And if you were to ask me, Vasavi, how do I begin to trust myself again? This is what I would say. Number one, stop avoiding shit. The things in your life that you've been avoiding are the very things that you need to be looking at. And when you start to look at it and confront it and solve it and actually put your energy towards it, that is when you have access to your own personal freedom, your internal freedom that we all have access to. It is a freedom that nobody can give you. It is given to you, by you, through you. And so number one is stop avoiding shit. Number two, find a community. Start hanging out with people that actually know who the fuck they are. Stop hanging out with people who don't know who they are, who are unsure of where they're going in life, who really don't have any sort of like plan as to what they're doing, and they're just dragging you along with them, right? When you hang out with people who are unsure of who they are and they don't know who they are, guess what? They're going to expect you to do the heavy lifting. And if you have the tendency to be, let's say, a caretaker, an overgiver, and an overgiver, and someone who's basically mommying the world around you, you don't want to hang out with people like that. So find a community of grown-ass adults who take responsibility for themselves, for their thoughts, for their words, for their action. My group, Say It Out Loud, is the community for you. If that is what you are looking for in this season, run by me and fueled by the words of all of you who joined the group. We begin January 16th. The link will be in the show notes, but it's an 8-week transformational program where we will look at the way you speak to yourself, speak to others, but it really is just a beautiful safe haven for you to be able to express yourself. So we work on your self-expression by giving you a space to do that, to express yourself, and that is the community. So it is based off my book, Say It Out Loud, but it is much deeper than just what you find in my book, which is very helpful. Right? It's really helping you learn how to talk to yourself. The way you learn how to talk to yourself is by actually talking out loud. And so you get to do both in my program. You not only will learn how to talk to yourself, but you'll also become much more confident with other people. That's what happens when you join a community. So that's the goal of my community, and I really hope you join us. You can go to vasavikumar.com/say it out loud. Or you can just go to the link in show notes. Find a community of like-minded people, right? If you are a runner and you want to meet other like-minded runners, and let's say you happen to be Indian. So for me, there's actually a South Asian Runners Club in Austin, and I didn't even know that, and I came across that. It's a very small group, but it's like a South Asian, so I'm South Asian Runners Group. If I wanted to become a runner and I wanted to be with other Indian people because it's important for me that I stay rooted in my culture and heritage, I would join that. I don't want to run, so that's not for me. But my point is, find a community of people that enjoy doing similar things and be on that mindset so that you're not constantly feeling like you're like this person who's all alone on this planet. There are people who are similar to you and have similar interests, and they don't have to be 100% like you, but it's nice to have shared interests with other people. So you've got to find that community. And this will help you trust yourself again, because here's the thing. When you're around people who don't know who they are, it rubs off on you, and it makes you start to doubt yourself. And you're not trying to do that right now. You're trying to trust yourself again and build that trust with yourself again. So find a community of like-minded people. It just strengthens your bond that you have with yourself. Number 3, tell the truth about everything. And I mean everything. Don't exaggerate. Don't undermine it. Don't downplay it. You got to tell the truth about everything, like from your finances, from your relationships, from, the quality of life that you have, the quality of satisfaction that you have in your relationships. How can you actually change anything in your life if you're not honest about what it is in the first place? How can you change anything in your life if you're not honest about what's going on in the first place? So you got to tell the truth about everything, like no matter how painful it is. And if it's hard for you to say it to the closest people in your life because maybe they don't seem understanding, then find a therapist or join a community. Talk to people. Be in a community where other people also value that honesty, that authenticity, that self-expression. Work with me one-on-one if you need someone that you want to talk to. If you need someone that you can talk to. Hire me one-on-one. Work with me. There's nothing wrong with that. I just decided I'm going back into therapy again. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting that help. There are a few things on my mind that I want to work on. I want to start dating again, and I realize I have a certain few things that are getting in the way of me dating. Trust issues, learning to trust myself again. In relationships, I trust myself very much so as a person, and then also there's this new layer of a relationship. So going back into therapy and really delving into that and exploring that from this really new place. But how would I even know that if I hadn't told myself the truth about that? So you got to be honest with yourself. This is how you begin to trust yourself again. Tell the truth. You're not going to get in trouble. This is not back in school again, but tell the truth to yourself. Be honest with yourself. If someone were to ask me, Vasavi, how do I trust myself? I would say, listen, you already know things in your life. I need you to practice it, live it, embody it. Embody what you know. what you already know. There are things that I already know that I need to be doing. Tell me why I'm not doing it. Why? Why am I constantly trying to get new information when I damn well don't practice the current information that I have? Why am I adding on more to my life when there are things in my life that I already have that I'm not nurturing? So use this as a reminder. Let me be a reminder to you that more is not better. You already have so much information, so much knowledge, so much wisdom. If you're listening to this podcast, I know you love listening to podcasts. I know that you probably love to read. You love to dive in. Use the knowledge that you already have and watch your life change. I'm in that season this year. I'm just like, you know what? I already know so much. Let me practice what I already know. I already know XYZ. Let me implement that, whatever that is, in my health, in my wellness, in my mental health, in my business. Like, we already know certain things in our life. Let's actually start to implement that. Okay, I already shared a little bit about no more black and white thinking. That's my other tip for learning to trust yourself again. Like, stop living in that very rigid and limited way of thinking and ask yourself, what else is there? What's another way of looking at this situation, this challenge, this problem? What's another way of looking at this that really has helped with my, black and white, very rigid, right or wrong, good or bad type of thinking? Is like, what else is available to us here? What else is available? What other options are available? We want our brains to not be stuck in these neuro patterns, and that's how we get like brain disease, and we like start to lose our memory. And it's like, I don't know about you, and this is very personal to me because my father has a neurological condition. It is very important to me to keep my brain healthy. So we know that our brain forms certain grooves and patterns, and by having this black and white thinking, it's very rigid. It's very just either or, and I don't want that for my brain. I want my brain to see the possibility in so many other ways of thinking and being and looking at life. So no more black and white thinking. That's my other tip for if you want to learn how to trust yourself and give yourself that permission to trust yourself. Allow your brain to have that flexibility in thinking and ask yourself certain questions like, what's another way of me looking at this? And lastly, my last piece of advice to help you begin to trust yourself, the thing that this is my word for 2024, is the word grace. But we want to make space for grace. We are going to make mistakes in our life. We are going to do things that maybe were not the right things that we should have done. I say should very lightly because we are not given a manual as to how to be and how not to be. We're learning, we're growing, we're figuring things out as we go, and so we're going to make mistakes. There's going to be errors. We're going to realize we should have done something one way. But even as I'm saying these words, I'm thinking to myself, like, we got to be more gentle with ourselves and realize that we are carrying with us years and years and years and generations and lifetimes of unnecessary baggage on our shoulders that we can now put down. Then we don't know, and we're just learning. So you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. You got to make space for grace and have grace for yourself. I'm sure many of you listening right now, if the person that you love the most came to you and said, hey, I made a mistake, you would easily forgive them. And you would say, you know what, it's okay, I understand. You got to give that to yourself, period. I know I am so quick to forgive. So quick to forgive. It is so easy for me to just forgive somebody. I say, okay, I understand. I get it. If I was in your shoes, I would do the same thing. It's so easy for me to forgive. But I really want to extend that towards myself because it's hard being resentful towards yourself, and it's hard being hard on yourself. It's hard being hard on yourself. And so let's lay the proverbial bat down and make space for grace for ourselves in 2024. And that's that. That's what I want to say about trusting yourself. I want to say that, when you stop avoiding shit, finding a community, you find a community, you start telling the truth about everything, you practice, live, embody what you do know, you really start to shy away from that black and white thinking, that rigid thinking, and you make space for grace. I mean, how could you not begin to trust yourself again or continue to build that relationship of trust with yourself, So I want to say thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Say It Out Loud podcast. I also want to say that I will be going live tomorrow on my Instagram at noon, Wednesday, January 3rd. I'll be sharing these tips as well tomorrow. And I'm sure it'll come out different out of my mouth this time around, but it's fine. I'm going to be talking about this again. And then my group, Say It Out Loud, we begin January 16th. I'll put the link in the show notes, or you can go to vasavikumar.com/Say It Out Loud. This is an 8-week community that I've created, intended to help you express yourself better and more honestly, and just really be a place of reprieve and relief. I think we all need a place that we can go just to say it out loud, and that's what I've created. So I hope to see you January 16th. I'll put the link in the show notes, like I said. And I want to say thank you for tuning in, of course, to another episode of the Say It Out Loud podcast. May this year be filled with prosperity and health and wealth and love for you and everyone around you. I love you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Say It Out Loud podcast.
If you love today's episode, then say it out loud. Subscribe, leave a review, and come say hi over on Instagram at My Name is Vasavi. Until next time, say it out loud.